After this video, you will get a chance to submit your own redesigns of a national flag, so stick around to find out how. We all love flags. They're a great way of representing a country and symbolizing its history and values. But as we know, flags didn't always look the same. Throughout time, they have evolved and changed the way they look. These changes are usually related to some type of significant historical event. So in this video, I want to show you a few of those changes. In this case, this would be the territory of the US and not the country, but we'll get to that in a minute. Now, arguably, the vast majority of countries has changed its flag at least once, with the exception of Denmark, the world's oldest continuous flag, being used since 1307, or the Netherlands, for instance, if we don't count color changes. I obviously can't show you all the countries which change their flag because we would have a 15-hour video, so I tried to choose some of the most interesting or ones with the biggest changes. First, the one on the thumbnail, Portugal. Portugal is interesting because of two reasons. One, the radical change in colors, and two, the maintenance of the national symbols. This flag was the flag of the Portuguese monarchy, blue and white, keeping in trend with Portugal's historical flags of the past, carrying the coat of arms and a crown. Blue and white had been the colors of Portugal throughout all its history up to this point. It was present on the very first national standard in 1095. However, red had begun to be introduced in the border of the coat of arms. But this was the monarchy flag, and in 1910, the monarchy came to an end, and so did the usage of the flag. New colors were selected, green and red, associated with the colors of the main Republican movement at the time. However, they chose to maintain the royal coat of arms, simply removing the crown and adding another historical symbol of the Portuguese, the armillary sphere. But still, just like in the monarchy the red was present on the shield, today in the Republic, the blue and white remained in the coat of arms as well. Next, Burma/Myanmar. Myanmar's flags are honestly incredibly confusing to me because they're all unbelievably different from each other. The first flag was technically this one, for the Anthawadi kingdom in the region in the year 1300, a golden bird of some type on a green field. Then the Burmese Empire used this white banner depicting what I think is a peacock in 1752. They were occupied by the British next, and they used their colonial ensign with the bird on the right as a seal. But once they became independent again, they adopted a strange flag, one whose template is identical to that of the Republic of China, now Taiwan, a red field with a blue canton and a white symbol inside it. In Myanmar's case, a number of stars. However, as far as I know, the similarity to the Taiwan flag is coincidental, although a few people claim that some Kuomintang leaders fled to Burma instead of Taiwan and rose to power there, making this the flag, but I have no idea if this is true or not. And then, as Myanmar, they changed it again to the current flag, a tricolor, yellow, green, and red. In the center is a white star, making it look more like an African flag than an Asian one, and being a case where each new flag has nothing to do with the majority of the others. Another one is South Africa. When the Europeans first arrived, South Africa didn't instantly become a single unified territory. A lot of smaller colonies and republics existed with their own flags, like the Natalia Republic, the Orange Free State, the British colonies of Natal and Cape Colony, Stellaland, or Transvaal. Only in 1910 did a unified flag first exist, a red British colonial ensign with a South African coat of arms on the right. This flag then became blue, then red again, and in 1928, the Republic of South Africa was created, using a tricolor flag of yellow, white, and blue. It's a rare case of a flag having flags inside it, 3 to be precise. The British one, the flag of Transvaal, and of the Orange Free State. Finally, in 1994, they adopted the current one, a flag that also goes against every single flag norm and trend in the world. It's not exactly striped, and it uses 6 colors. One would think it could never work, but it oddly does, and looks great. Canada also changed its flag a few times. The first technical Canadian flag was the flag on John Cabot's ship, used during the English colonization of the Americas, as well as the French fleur-de-lis flag, There were also technically Scottish settlements, so I guess the Scottish flag was also an early flag of theirs, but not as a unified territory. As a unified territory, they first used the Union flag of Great Britain, both versions, starting in 1763, then changing it to the colonial ensigns in 1868. A red field with the Union Jack on the top left corner, and on the right was the symbol of Canada itself, which suffered a few alterations until the last version of 1957. Then finally they adopted the current flag, a bicolor of red, white, and red, with a red maple leaf in the middle, and this was in 1965. A fun fact is that the first proposed flag to an independent Canada was actually blue on the sides. The case of Canada with their British colonial ensigns is the same for a big number of former British colonies, like Lesotho, which has since dramatically changed their flag to this in 1966, then again in 87, and the current one in 2006. A lot of former British Empire regions have since updated their banners, with the exception of New Zealand, which for some reason refused to change their flag. Something weird when one of the options was the famous kiwi bird shooting laser beams out of its eyes. And Australia as well. I want to make a full video on the British colonial flag, so let me know if you would like to see that. Next is Georgia, the country, not the US state. And they have also drastically changed their flag. I'll maybe also make a video on that one alone, so I'll just give you an overview here. It all starts with the flag of the Principality of Iberia, which has nothing to do with the Iberian Peninsula. It was a red cross on a white field. This then became the flag of the Kingdom of Georgia in 1008, which added 4 extra small crosses on the corners. But a few kings used different banners, like the unicorn flag of David the Builder or of Queen Tamar, which used a checkered red and black flag. Eventually, when Georgia became a democratic republic in 1918, they took these colors and made this dark red flag with a black and white stripe on the top left corner. However, in 2004, the country decided to recover its original symbols and implemented this flag, an updated but pretty much equal to that of the First Kingdom, although in a lighter tone of red. Now, you may have your opinion about these flags. Maybe you prefer the older ones, maybe the current, or maybe you think changes are still needed. So I had an idea for this video, letting you guys submit your own national flag redesigns. Just pick a country and make a flag for it. You can submit them by email to me, sending them to GKflagcontest@gmail.com. You have 1 month, so until December 1st of 2019 to send them, and after that I will make a video showing all the submissions. And here's the best part. There will be 10 winners for the best designs, and those will win a prize each, a scratch map provided by MapsInternational.co.uk, a friend of the channel who are kind enough to give these away. So get to it. Choose any country and redesign their flag according to your taste, send it over and have it shown on the video, plus maybe win a map for yourself. Now back to the flags. We also have cases of weird changes, sometimes small details which for some reason were bothering the country enough to have them change it, unless there's a deeper meaning to it that I'm not aware of. An example of this is Bahrain, which altered the number of triangles from 8 to 5, or St. Lucia, which merely changed the tone of blue in the background. Color tone changes are very common in flags throughout history. Libya had on one hand the most boring flag in the world, but on the other hand a pretty cool flag, a plain green standard. However, due to political and social changes, they implemented a new one, a tricolor, red, black, and green, with a white crescent and star in the center. Another example is the United States, which have changed their flag a countless number of times, having the necessity of adding a new star for each new state in the Union. There are even projections of what the new star disposition could be if certain territories achieved statehood, like Washington, D.C. or Puerto Rico. In fact, from what I could find, the US are the country in the world which has changed its flag the most times, but we should keep in mind these were incredibly small changes. China has also changed its flag a lot, usually with each flag associated to a specific regime that the country had or has. Arguably, the first official flag for China as a whole was the standard of the Qing Emperor, a yellow triangle with a dragon on it. That then became the flag of Qing China, becoming rectangular. Then came the first Chinese Republic, a 5-striped colored flag, representing the union of the 5 peoples of China into one. Then the Chinese Empire sort of joined those in a different template. Then came the flag of the Republic of China, the current flag of Taiwan, which follows the template we saw for Myanmar earlier. After a lot of temporary flags, the Chinese People's Republic adopted its current flag of red and yellow stars. China has a lot of changes because it's a country with such a long history, and the same thing happens with the next one, Egypt. Ancient Egypt had no one flag, so the country only began using a uniform standard in 750 with different ruling dynasties. First were the Abbasid, with a plain black flag, then the Fatimid with an all-white one, and the Ayyubid with an all-yellow. Only in the 14th century, with the Mamluks, did they add a symbol of a crescent moon. Then came the time of Ottoman occupation, when they used a number of variations of the Ottoman standards. And then came their independence, the Kingdom and Republic of Egypt. And then the Arab Revolution took place using this flag. There was a brief period of unification with other Arab nations using another flag, and finally reaching the current one, a red, white, and black tricolor with a golden eagle in the center. So again, we notice that the changes of flags are usually associated with the changes in the ruling dynasty or in the regime itself. And finally, another interesting case. It isn't one of a country changing its flag, but rather of a country adding a flag to its national representation. A lot of times countries have a civil ensign and then a state flag with the coat of arms on it, like Poland. But Bolivia did something different, adding a new flag called the Wiphala to be flown next to the national flag at all times, representing the Inca heritage of the country and the indigenous people. And it's actually a pretty cool flag. It's a square depicting 49 smaller squares, 7 by 7, with various colors, going against the norm of rectangular flags, as well as the trend of flags being tricolor and striped. So those were a few of the cases where countries changed their flags. Like I said, there's a lot of cases like this, but I try to choose the ones that seemed the most interesting. If you have any other ideas, let me know in the comments and I'll make a part 2 for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Remember to send over your redesign of a country's flag if you want to enter the contest, and you can check the details again in the description below. And subscribe to catch future videos, including the one showcasing entries and announcing the winners. I will see you next time for more general knowledge.